So Congress is finally voting to ban themselves from trading stocks, but there's a massive catch that makes this whole thing feel almost meaningless. If you want to understand why, you just have to take a look at this one chart of the stock trade volume of Senator John Hickenlooper. Over 3 years, he made just over 50 trades, which is really not that much, but he's worth over $30 million. You see, the new law is called the Stop Insider Trading Act, and on paper, it looks good. It stops members of Congress and their spouses from buying new individual stocks. And if you can't buy new stocks, you can't insider trade, right? Well, according to the reporters over at Sludge, there's a pretty serious loophole here. You see, this law doesn't force members of Congress to sell the individual stocks that they already own, and it doesn't put their assets in a blind trust. It kind of just freezes their portfolios in place. Some prominent Democrats have pointed out that this law mostly just protects the wealthiest members of Congress without really reforming the problem. But what do they mean by that? Well, that gets us back to Senator Hickenlooper. He doesn't trade much, but he holds a ton of stock. He walked into Congress with an already pretty robust stock portfolio, many tech stocks. But Hickenlooper sits on the subcommittee for consumer protection, technology, and data privacy. He's presided over hearings on data security standards, consumer protections, and risks of new technology. And while holding these stocks, he's not exactly been a critic of big tech. He failed to sign on to multiple antitrust bills that his colleagues supported. So it's no surprise then that Google, Apple, and Microsoft are among his top donors, because when these companies do well, he does well. How could he ignore that? Holding these stocks at all is a conflict of interest in and of itself, and Hickenlooper isn't remotely alone here. South Carolina House Rep Ralph Norman sits on the Financial Services Committee while holding over $1 million in shares of American banks. Texas Rep Craig Goldman, who sits on an energy subcommittee, holds up to $5.5 million in oil and gas companies. Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty is chair of a subcommittee on financial services, but holds stock in major financial companies like Pinnacle Bank, Ares Capital, and bought stock in JP Morgan Chase and Blackstone since joining the Senate. So this bill doesn't really reform the system, it just locks in this current level of corruption. Real reforms like the Restore Trust in Congress Act would force members of Congress to actually sell their stocks or at least put them in a blind trust, which is really the only way to ensure that our representatives stop caring about share prices and start caring about us. The current bill fails to do that. It's not about stopping insider trading, it's about grandfathering it in and taking credit for fixing a problem without actually solving it.